Kalthoff and welcome to a Stamping to Share video. I am so excited to share this awesome seasonal bells bundle with you from our 2016 holiday catalog. And we are going to make not Christmas bells, but wedding bells with this stamp set. Stampin' Up! Always thinks of everything, and they saw that they could be a lot more versatile with their bell set if they could use not only for Christmas, but for weddings as well. And it comes with a coordinating punch to punch out those bells perfectly. So let's go ahead and get started. I do want to mention that the inside sentiment, wishing you a marriage made in heaven and a lifetime blessed by God, comes from the Rose Wonder. The Rose Wonder stamp set has lots of great sentiments, and I was excited to find one that works so well with this stamp set. So let's go ahead, and we are going to start with our Night of Navy card base. This is cut at 5.5 by 8.5, and then I've scored it at 4 1/4. So I'm going to use my bone folder. We're going to fold towards the mountain, and I'll just give it a nice press so that it will lie flat for us while we work with it. The inside panel is very vanilla. It's 4 by 5 1/4. I'm going to bring my stamping mat into the picture because the sentiment from Rose Wonder happens to be photopolymer. You'll always get a better image if you use the mat with a photopolymer stamp set. So here is our sentiment. We're just going to press that in right here. We're using Night of Navy ink, and we have a beautiful sentiment. Then I'm going to turn this over, and using a little bit of snail on the back side, we're just going to attach this to the inside panel of our card. All right, so we can set all of this aside, and the next thing that we're going to do is work on the bells. Now, we are going to do this very economically. We have a 2 7/8 by 3 5/8 inch piece of our gold foil paper. This metallic paper works perfectly with punches or with our die cuts, and today we're going to be using, of course, the bell punch with it. Now, the reason it's economical is because you're going to take your StazOn ink and you're going to stamp those bells with StazOn ink directly onto this panel that's actually going to be a mat on our very vanilla panel. So here's the first bell, and then we'll go ahead and we'll stamp the second bell. So you just turn it so that you get good use of space, and give that a good press so everything will adhere nicely. And go ahead and take a look at how beautifully this stamped. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to go in with our bell punch, and we're just going to cut these bells out. Now, just because I want to give this about a minute or so to dry, I did go ahead and I stamped those bells ahead of time so that they would be nice and dry to work with. So I'm just turning my punch upside down. That way I can see exactly where to stamp. And we'll go ahead and we'll just punch out these bells. And we have 2 perfectly punched bells, and we also have our mat that we can use as one of our layers on our card. The next layer is a very vanilla panel. This is 2 3/4 by 3 1/2. So it's basically 1/8 inch smaller than what our gold panel is. We're going to ink up Best Wishes, and we're just going to stamp this down here towards the bottom of that vanilla panel. And then we can go ahead and we are just going to take our bells and put those directly onto this very vanilla panel. So the first one I'm just going to put down with a little bit of snail and have it kind of going off to the left. Then the second one, I'm going to add a dimensional. I think possibly 2 dimensionals, one at the top and one at the bottom. And we'll lift up the peely and we'll put this on. We'll make sure that the top of the bells are connected, and then we'll put this one going off to the right. And we have this panel complete. So now all we have to do is attach it to our gold panel. So to do that, I'm just going to take some snail and run it along on my gold panel. And then we're just going to take the very vanilla and just hoover it over this gold panel and drop it in when we see that all 4 borders are nice and even. So here is our panel for our card. And then here's the back side. You can see that the bells are covered up by the vanilla panel. So now all we have to do is put this on our card after we do a little bit more decorating. So our next panel is a Night of Navy panel. This is 3 7/8 by 5 1/8. And I ran this through the Big Shot machine with the festive embossing folder. The festive embossing folder can be found in our annual catalog, and it coordinates with our Fiesta birthday stamp set. But with wedding cards, it's truly a festive occasion, so it seemed just perfect to use on this card. So then I'm going to take some wonderful metallic 1/8 inch taffeta ribbon from Stampin' Up. This is the gold metallic taffeta ribbon. And I'm just going to do a little bit of a wrap. I'm going to put it down with some Scotch tape and wrap it around this panel. And then we're just going to take a little bit of multi-purpose liquid glue and glue this down to our card. And we'll set this in here and make sure that this panel is nice and evenly spaced on all 4 sides. Then we can go ahead and we'll take this panel that's been ready for a bit, and we're just going to add some dimensionals to all 4 corners and then 1 in the middle. And then we'll go ahead and we'll just set this on our card, and it will be just a little bit above the ribbon. And now we can accent this ribbon with a bow. So I made a bow with that same ribbon and I put it on a glue dot. So you can see that it's attached to a glue dot. We're just going to set this down here in the lower left-hand corner onto that ribbon wrap. And there's our card. Isn't it great? It's so rich and just elegant. So here's the card I just created. Here is the card I had done in advance. Thank you so much for stopping by today. I truly appreciate you. If you need to place a product order, be sure to visit my blog at www.stampingtoshare.com, and I have links there that go to my Stampin' Up! Online store. Have a great day. Bye-bye.